Right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and time for our annual barrel tasting with Bouchard, Pere. We've had Luc Bouchard here. We've had representatives from, the company, Hanrio. And this year we got the winemaker, Frederick Weber, here. And nice, beautiful evening. We dined amongst the stars, tasted wines, and outside, which is something new we started this year. And I have to say, man, our courtyard here at the Wine Watch, and when the weather is right, there is no better setting for a wine tasting. And tonight we had a full crowd, and these 2014s, very showy. Another excellent vintage from Burgundy, very forward, very drinkable already, even though some of these wines were not finished. When you say barrel samples, that means they drew the wine off the barrel and bottled it. They didn't send the barrel over here. And, still... the wine's got to spend some more time in the barrel before it is bottled. In the case of the Grand Cru, some of the wines were already finished. But 2014, already very showy. We started out with the Fevre Chambertin. This wine showing beautiful ripe forward cherry fruit, hints of mint, a Sauvage-like animal component, bright red berry fruit on the tongue, silky smooth tannins, that animal note here showing through the finish as well. Already drinking nicely, bright and forward, opening up very good. On the second day. These wines all needed a day to open up. We opened them up several hours before the tasting, but I always taste things the next morning, and I have to say the next morning these wines were all delicious. The Bone Clos de Mousse, one of the ripest and fruitiest of all the wines. Delicious dark cherry raspberry fruit, notes of fresh flowers, exotic spices, cinnamon, a very distinct earthy note here, plump, juicy fruit on the tongue, silk smooth tannins like satin on the tongue, and an array of flowers, exotic spices on the finish. A big and fruity wine, lovely freshness. This wine could use a little more time in the bottle. Opened up for 6 hours. It was delicious. All right, the Bouchard Volnay Cailleret. This one had a beautiful nose of wild strawberry, red cherry fruit, dark spices, almost like a raw meat character as well in the nose. A darker berry fruit here, but bright and refreshing on the palate. Silky smooth tannins, lovely balance. This wine had a little bit of that animal character to the finish as well. Nice length here. All right, the Baby Jesus, one of our favorite wines. This wine's got an incredible bouquet of exotic Asian spice, smoke, raspberry coulis, violet floral notes, mint, more and more coming out as this wine opens up. Very complex, little smoky note there. Wow, just an explosion of flavors on the tongue. Thick red berry fruit, some tannins here, giving this wine a little dryness at the end. This wine always needs time. We've showed this wine back to 49 the first time I tasted through these wines with Luke at the Great Wine Seminar. The 49, this was over 10 years ago, but it was old at that time and showing beautifully. The first empty bottle I put in my empty bottle collection, and I'd set this wine aside for 10 years easily. Most excellent juice. The Le Courton up next, and Courton's got a very distinct minerality to the nose, almost like a marine-like seashell quality, red cherry bubblegum-like fruit, fresh flowers, more coming on the second day. A really beautiful, complex nose, but it took a little while to open up. A very sturdy wine on the palate with good structure, depth of fruit, a strong minerality showing through the finish as well. Some tannins here at the end. Lovely ripe berry fruit. This wine is a wine for the cellar. Most excellent juice, though. All right, and then on to the Chablis. It's nice, refreshing to have the Chablis after the reds. And these guys at Bouchard show the reds first and the whites second. And they've owned William Fevre for a while. We showed the Montman Premier Cru, which these Chablis have a really distinct minerality to that Kimmeridgian limestone. You really notice a seashell-like minerality. Zesty lime citrus, green apple fruit, really bright and focused on the tongue with a lot of that minerality, leaving the tongue salivating for food. A very refreshing wine, excellent juice. The Forcham, this is an appellation situated on the sloping right bank of the Seine River and providing excellent exposure, which enables this wine to express its personality even more. A good amount of minerality shown here as well, that briny character to the lemon, lime, citrus fruit, bright and refreshing on the tongue, like biting into a green apple here, that seashell minerality lengthening the finish, very bright and focused. The Le Clos, the most famous of all the Grand Crus, mainly because it's the largest and easiest to pronounce, probably, and this wine's got a really strong minerality to it and needs a little bit of time to open up. Lemon blossoms, really nice spicy note to the bouquet as well. A healthy dose of that minerality here on the tongue. Really nice richness here as well. A little honeyed character to the apple, Jolly Rancher candy fruit. Very long and layered finish. Most excellent juice. All right, then on to the whites. That's right, we showed the Bouchard whites next. And we have the Meursault Les Clous. which this wine is just a Liu D. It's a named vineyard. Merceau showing a lovely amount of fruit. I call it the most California-esque of all the appellations. Ripe tree fruits, apples, white peach, hints of flowers, rocky, earthy notes as well. A good deal of ripe tree fruit here. Nice texture of whole milk and that minerality lengthening the finish. Just a nice hint of oak spice there. The Polini Montrachet also showing really nice tree fruit there. Crushed rock-like minerality, apple blossoms, a note of vanilla creme flan there. Really nice richness on the tongue. Surprisingly forward for a Polini for me, and a strong mineral component here, lengthening the finish. Really good structure. This wine could use 7 to 10 years in the cellar, but already delicious. The Courton Charlemagne 2014. Excellent, very complex and rich bouquet here, opening up nicely the morning after. An abundance of ripe pear, peach, and lemon drop candy fruit, vanilla bean, creme brulee. A good hand of minerality here in this wine as well. Very rich and layered on the palate. Nice creamy texture, that distinct minerality, lengthening the finish, and really nice creme brulee nuance coming in at the end as well. Most excellent. And then we give you extra at every Wine Watch tasting, a little older vintage of Merceau Genevières, showing some evolution here on the nose. Really distinct, flinty, kind of smoky note, seashell minerality, a good hand of ripe tree fruit. These 2009s really plump and ripe, and showing wonderful concentration, still balanced. These wines will last another decade, but drinking beautifully right now. This wine is rich and layered on the palate, sappy, kind of really sweet, and a long finish. This wine's got excellent balance, a lot of fruit here. It screams, drink me right now, but like I said, you could hold on to it for a little while. And then we did open up some older reds. I think I missed the Nuit Saint Georges Lacaille also, which this wine's a little monster. Really dark cherry, instant spice, coffee, hints of wildflowers, earth, kind of truffly notes. A big and chewy wine on the tongue. This wine is just packed with dark cherry fruit, exotic spices, wild floral nuance, and some tannins here, and acidity holding everything firmly in place. This wine needs some time, but has everything in proportion. All right, we opened up an older vintage of Bone de Chateau. This 2011 vintage, although when it came out, not highly regarded. Right now, drinking at or near its peak. A lovely strawberry and raspberry fruit here. Pretty notes of gravel and mineral showing. Brown spice, light smoke. This Bone de Chateau is a blend of a dozen different Premier Crus. Smooth and silky on the tongue. This 2011, like I said, drinking at its peak. A nice gravelly, minerally character showing through the finish. You could keep this wine for a few more years, but it is hard to resist like right now. And then we showed a 2013 Montelile Duress, one of the best values in this Bouchard lineup at under $50 still. Bright raspberry and strawberry Jolly Rancher candy fruit, rose petals, a really distinct minerality here as well too. A nice zesty, spicy wine on the palate, that lovely red berry fruit, pretty floral notes. Good structure, the minerality lengthening the finish here. Excellent juice. And that's what we had to drink with our friends from Bouchard and William Fevre. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.